Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're getting back into reality transurfing. This is a very powerful chapter and it's about releasing guilt and building your confidence as it relates to being successful, living the life that you want, having the career you want, having the relationship that you want, having the amount of money that you want, and the feelings of guilt from your past may be holding you up. And I'm actually going to implement an exercise during this video that's going to help you revise those scenes and build a new version of yourself. That way you can be successful. That way you can have the things that you want to have, live the life that you want to live, have the money that you want to have. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into this. All right, guys, before we get into the exercises, before we get into the chapter of transurfing, I have something that I prepared, something I want to share with you. It's very powerful and something you need to know. You have the ability to be whatever you want to be, do, or have with the power of your imagination, with the power of your mind. Whatever is going on in your life right now that you perceive to be negative or bad, that is just your perception of it. Bad or negative things are opportunities to grow, opportunities to be grateful for the little things in your life, opportunities to change your mindset, opportunities to look within yourself for the answers. If we didn't have the low moments, we wouldn't know what it feels like to be high. Let me ask you something, guys, something really look within yourself when you answer these questions. Let me ask you something. When is the last time you were grateful for having water to drink? When is the last time you were thankful for being able to breathe oxygen? You have so much abundance in your life right now. And when you can see that, then you will start to see those small things grow into skyscrapers. When you can start seeing the small things in your life, noticing the things, having oxygen to breathe, having water to drink. When you start being grateful for those things, they expand, they become huge, they grow into millions of dollars, into great relationships, into everything that you want to do, be, or have will come to you with this gratitude, okay? This is very important. Your potential is limitless. It's time to look inside into your wonderful human imagination. Let's go, guys. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, guys, I have a great exercise I'm going to give you at the end of this video for releasing guilt and building confidence to achieve success. So stay with me here. Okay, so this is Vadim Zeland here. The feelings of guilt, number 17 in transurfing, reality transurfing. Principle. The sense of guilt always generates scenarios related to punishment without you realizing it. This is typical of the usual world view. Every crime is always punished. As soon as you notice the slightest trace of guilt, get rid of that rubbish immediately. Okay, so right here, guys, as soon as you notice the slightest trace of guilt, get rid of that rubbish immediately. Do not let it spoil your life. Live true to your own convictions and you will never experience guilt. No one will dare to judge you if you do not consider yourself guilty. When you are free of guilt, you will never find yourself in a situation in which someone tries to threaten you with violence. No guilt, no punishment. There it is. Interpretation. If you are struggling to shift a guilt complex, it is important to stop justifying yourself. Stop justifying yourself. This is one of the most of those cases where treating the symptoms of the disease successfully deals with the cause, okay? Cause is the most important thing, not the effects, but the cause, the internal, subjective. Okay, we're getting back to subjective and internal. Okay, so you do not have to convince yourself that you are not obligated to anyone. Simply observe your everyday actions. This requires a certain level of awareness. If previously you had the habit of apologizing for the slightest thing, adopt a different habit. Explain your actions only when it is necessary. Explain your actions only when it is necessary. Stop feeling as though you owe something to others. Stop feeling as though you owe something to others. Even if the feeling of being obligated continues, do not show it outwardly. When they stop getting the former knee-jerk reaction, the manipulators will gradually back off. At the same time, the heart and the mind will gradually get used to the new situation. So you'll start having different images in your mind. Okay, so that's what this is doing. He's attacking the 3D here, but this will change your internal imagery. Okay, so he actually is onto something here. If you are not trying to justify yourself, then things are obviously as they should be. And so your guilt simply cannot exist. As a result, the need for redemption will appear less and less often. Therefore, via the feedback chain, the outer form will gradually tidy up the inner content. There it is. The outer form will gradually tidy up the inner content, but he's attacking the 3D, and then the 3D is affecting your imagery internally. We usually do this, Neville Goddard, and we teach on this channel that you change internal first, but he's kind of attacking the external, which is changing the internal as you're projecting, as you project the feelings of guilt. Okay, so with disappear, okay, the feelings of guilt will disappear, and with it, all its associated problems. Hey guys, I grabbed something here that's not out of this book, but it's something I really wanted to share with you guys here. There is no right or wrong. There are only effective and less effective functional ways to achieve a certain goal or intention. There is therefore no reason to hold on to old feelings of guilt as long as you learn the lessons from it. And this is where I'm kind of getting the exercise. We're kind of leading up to this exercise. When you were 23, so imagine yourself when you were, much younger, or maybe not 23, but maybe when you were 13. Imagine when you were 13 and you made a mistake. When you were a child, you didn't know any better. Okay, so don't feel guilty about that. Okay, so you know better now. You were young, inexperienced, and ignorant compared to now. Okay, so this is where this exercise is coming. I love this exercise. I actually do this myself. Just do this one time for about 5 minutes, guys. This is my own little trick that I do myself. I go into meditation, take some breaths first. I like to take some real deep breaths because that gets me really, really in the present moment. Then meditate on this. Okay, there it is. As soon as you can honestly look back, this is be truthful, be real with yourself here. As soon as you can honestly look back on something bad that you think you have done, and you can honestly say right now within yourself, honestly say to yourself that if you had a chance to redo it, you would do it the right way now. You are forgiven. If you can honestly look at something you've done in the past and know that if you were to be able to redo it honestly with yourself, know that you could redo it now and you wouldn't have done the same thing you did before, in that instant moment, you are forgiven. You have revised it, and the imagery will then start preparing itself in your imagination. So right in that moment, you are healed. You are forgiven because time isn't real. And if you could honestly say that you would do it again, you wouldn't do it again, then you're forgiven. Now, notice the images that come up in your mind for a few moments. Now, this is part of the exercise. I want you to notice the images that start coming to your mind when you're saying this to yourself, when you're looking back in the past and noticing something that you did wrong in the past, something you feel guilty about now, anything that it is. Everyone has got something in their past where they still feel guilty about, they wish they wouldn't have done. And if you can look back in the past in this meditation and honestly say to yourself that you would do it differently now, that means that you are healed now. You've revised it, and the imagery will start changing, and your future will start changing. Now, the images that come up in your mind for a few moments, notice them, and then you say to yourself, "It is done, I am forgiven." As soon as images start popping up, say it. It is done, I am forgiven. This is actually one of my own personal exercises that I do. All right, guys, let's run right back through this. I want to give you another brief of this beginning here that I prepared that I really, really loved. All right, here it is. This is so important. It's so powerful, so important. Okay, so you have the ability. You have the ability to be and do and have whatever you want with the power of your imagination, with the power of your mind, and whatever is going on in your life right now that seems to be bad or negative. You need to change your perception of that and start being grateful for the small things. Like, ask yourself, when's the last time that you were grateful for being able to go get a drink of water, or being able to breathe oxygen in your lungs? When is the last time you're grateful for that? And when you can start being grateful for those things, the small things, those things will grow and expand. And this is not just hypothetical. This is actually literally, once you can start being grateful for these tiny little things that we forget about all the time, they start growing, and all of a sudden, all these doors will start opening in your life because the imagery in your mind starts changing, because you're using your imagination in a different level, because you start being grateful, new images start popping up in your mind and start creating new things, and you're creating new things unconsciously. It's very powerful, guys. All right. Love you guys very much. And give me one thing you guys are grateful for in the column box below. See you guys tomorrow.